seemed as if it had never happened. My body didn't soar or fly, it thudded. 7 meters, 39 centimeters. A full 15.5 inches shorter than what I had hoped for. I stepped out of the sandpit with a terrible feeling in my stomach, knowing that I had just made it even more difficult for myself to win. Other guys were having really good meets, walking around the practice area smiling, heads up, confidently preparing for the next events. Thoughts that I was already vanquished kept shooting through my brain and making it harder for me to concentrate on what I needed to do. In the decathlon, you try to build up points in your strongest events. Doing just so-so in your best events forces you to have to make up those points elsewhere, which could be impossible since you are already performing at your peak ability. And trying too hard in other events pulls you out of your rhythm. Instead of relaxing, you force it and make more mistakes. For reasons I could not fathom, my peak that day seemed lower than normal. It didn't matter that I had gotten positive press coverage or that some competitors were considered long shots. What mattered was who showed up on that day and put together the best score in 10 events. So far, the competition was winning. In the past, I'd always been very good at compartmentalizing each result in my mind, building a wall between the past and the present. My iron rule of competition had always been to put each event behind me and move on to the next one, no matter how well or poorly I did. No athlete can afford to let the elation of a good performance or the pain of a bad one affect his or her next event. Success or failure can throw you off your rhythm and take you out of your zone. But this time, the wall kept crumbling and disappointments kept flooding in. I was unable to escape the bitter memories of my substandard performance. I dragged those thoughts with me to the next warm-up area like so much dead weight. This state of mind certainly did not help my shot put performance. The shot seemed heavier, my movements and steps tighter and less fluid. I had a bad throw. Now, it wasn't just a fluke, it was a trend. Bryan Clay, gold medal favorite in Beijing, was in danger of not even making the team. I groaned inwardly as I left the shot put area. This is not how it's supposed to happen, I thought. If I don't pull this together, I'll be watching the games from my couch. Everything I've worked for these 8 years will be lost. All the expectations, all the hopes that my family and I have had, the thousands of hours of practice, it could all just disappear. Feeling defeated, I went into the high jump area and had a really bad warm-up, which is unusual for me. I could tell that I had lost the mental game. I had to get away from the competition for a moment, so I walked off the track and headed for the bathroom under the bleachers. Hanging my head and slumping my shoulders, I couldn't even fake happiness for the cameras. As I was walking, I heard one of my coaches yell down to me from the stands, "Bryan, stop messing around. We just need to get third." Third? Who was talking about third? We'd never considered getting third. I was supposed to win the meet and then win Olympic gold. That was the script we were using. For a moment, it seemed that someone had taken away that script in the middle of my performance and replaced it with a new one I had never seen before. I didn't know what to do. I realized that my coaches were panicking. They could see in my posture that I was disappointed in myself. They knew the poison of defeat was threatening to seep into my remaining performances. But still, the phrase rang in my ear. We just need to get third. My mind swirling, my heart aching, I retreated under the bleachers and did the only thing I knew to do at a time of crisis. I began praying. God, you need to come down here and get this thing figured out, I said, fuming. This is not how it's supposed to happen. I have to admit, it was not a very gracious prayer. I was exasperated and angry. I felt I had been led into a situation where I would now humiliate myself in front of everyone, sports fans, my family, my coaches, and my fellow athletes. If this was God's plan for my life, I did not want any part of it.